And inside us, we do have Brother Keith inside the host. And he won't stay to the early morning I did last week because I know he got early morning commitment and so forth. So inside the host, we have Brother Keith. Also, we do have Brother Jeff, who was just breaking down the whole thing about business earlier on. And I was playing a recording the whole thing about business, and Jeff is familiar with the individual, the CD I was playing. And Jeff, I was going to ask you, Jeff, that because I've been playing that CD and I thoroughly enjoy it, you know, it really just breaks down everything about business, the things you should look for, and what is a business, etc. I just want to get your perspective of the recording I just played.
Well, it was very, very interesting, very lively. Mr. Olamide Emmanuel.
Have you met him before?
I haven't met him before.
Okay.
Know of him. But he's understanding business 101, and he uses a lot of biblical principles in his talk about starting a business. And it's it's very, very eye-opening. And his views and his thoughts, and I can relate to a lot of them. Is people's desire to start a business, and why business fails. We talked about earlier, is because people really don't, have the right attitude and don't, as I said earlier about the research and
the research
and looking into things like that, and that's why businesses fails. As I said, people need to know that, at the end of the day, business is a continuous learning. You're learning all the time. You never know it all. Because things change. And it's up to you to make sure you keep up to date with all the developments in your industry, in your sector, and just keep abreast. And there's so much information out there now, to help people.
Okay then. Jeff, because I want to ask you, is that if people want to, get some advice or see you personally, how do they? Can that be done? Like we're speaking on the air now. Can that people?
Oh yes,
or whatever.
Yes. Well, I say I'm an independent advisor. I do work with other enterprise agencies, but I do give personal advice. People can contact me on my mobile, on my email address. I can give that out.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, my mobile, which is 07956 332 958. It's 07956 332 958, and my email address is gfolks FOLKES @waitrose.com.
Okay, then fantastic. Well, Jeff, we do have Brother Keith inside the host now.
Brother Keith is here,
and I would like you to bounce in with Brother Keith as well, because we have some businessman them inside the host now. So these are the millionaire man them,
Good evening, Brother Dougie. Yeah, I'm back again.
You're back again, Keith. So
yes,
thank you. Fresh man,
Yeah.
Looking fresh. And
thank you for inviting me again, man. It's a pleasure to be here again with you, man.
Fantastic.
And we have a strong team tonight, huh?
Yeah, we have a strong team tonight. So Keith, what I wanted to do, I wanted to touch a little bit about the event was taking place on this Sunday, the 31st, and we have a powerful lineup because Brother Josie, he done a phone in last week and light them up on fire because he was talking about the history, gives a background and everything about crowdfunding and what it's about.
Yes, yes, he did. Yes, he did a great job, didn't he?
Yeah. And was you when he phoned you? When he phoned in last week?
I was here last week. Yes, I was here till 5 or 4 o'clock in the morning, man. So I heard everything.
All right,
I did the full session yesterday last week, man.
And we had Sister Juliet, who's on the panel, and she'll be talking about your thing about crowdfunding.
She'll be with us she'll be with us on Sunday as well. Yeah,
she'll be there Sunday. And in fact, Juliet has a success story to tell about crowdfunding, because she had a target and she passed her target using the crowdfunding platform. So it works.
Yeah, Sister Juliet, she phoned in last week, and she was very chuffed, wasn't she? She was pleased because she reached her target with a day to spare, because her platform gave her a deadline to hit her target, and she did it with 20. She actually thought her deadline was the day before, and she hit the target, and it was actually 24 hours later, man. So she was very, very pleased. In actual fact, she's got a press conference tomorrow about her project, so I'm gonna pop along tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
She'll be ringing us in about 20 minutes time, because I know that she's trying to prepare the press conference tomorrow. So Keith, what we wanted to do is just talk about the 31st.
Yeah,
and
my pleasure, man.
Will you be focused around and let people know, because as I said, all roads this Sunday leads to the path of your academy.
Well, thanks to you, brother Dougie, man, and thank you again for this forum. We're going to have a great day on Sunday. The weather's going to be good. I don't care what the weather's like, but it's going to be good. And we're all going to be gathered for a reason, because it's about awareness and showing people and telling people what they can get and gain from crowdfunding. What is crowdfunding? Many people might have heard the name, may have seen a few advertisements, but really just it just goes over their head. It's not really in their eyesight. They don't see it. They're not in vision. But what we're going to do is give people some vision on Sunday, and we are going to talk about the crowdfunding space in general, not just any particular platform, although I represent a platform, but Brother Jose, Sister Julia, and I, we will all be talking about the crowdfunding space and how it can impact us. It's the 21st century way of raising money now. Forget about you going to all those expensive platforms, with those silly dummies on adverts, and then charge you 2,000% and that sort of stuff. We're going to talk about raising money, and it's going to be no charge, no interest, and it's going to really be worthwhile. And to find the platforms that are out there that can help you to do that. And I'm going to be representing the platform. Of course, I am. It's going to be Sunday, the 31st of July, 4 o'clock till 8 p.m. and it's at the Parkview Academy. So it's on West Green Road, London N15, 3RB. We got someone online?
Hello. Yeah, it's Robbie. DJ Robbie.
Yeah, you have a question?
Dougie there.
Yeah, Dougie's here, yeah?
Is that you, Dougie?
Yes, sir.
Robbie.
Yes, Robbie. How are you, man? You good?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
All right, then. So you have a question for us? Sorry?
You got a stall for me on Saturday?
Of course we got a star for you. And I'm going to beat you as well, because I'm telling you first, I'm a star with us,
Don't worry yourself, man. You got space. I want to come up on Saturday if it's possible.
Yeah.
And we got to think, I would teach people how to go Georgia, Cantaloupe, Catwan and Pepper, Moringa, and all them things. Yeah?
Okay, then.
I'm going to bring them up on Saturday.
No problem.
If it's possible, yeah?
No problem. So make sure...
Mechanical space for me.
We have space for you, Robbie. So make sure you get up about 3:30 Saturday, yeah?
I'll get there before that, yeah?
Yeah, 3:30.
And it's all about the teaching. It's not the money-making thing. Just to show people what we can do.
Okay, then.
I support the thing, yeah?
No problem.
Okay, Dougie, I'll be there.
All right, no problem. 3:30.
Respect me, break it.
In fact, I'm glad Sadie mentioned that, because there will be stools there Saturday. So people won't have a stool at the event. The stools. Sorry, Sunday. Really? Okay.
It's Sunday, not Saturday.
Yeah. Yes, just to let people know, it's Sunday, the 31st of July. Because usually we do have a event on a Saturday, but it is Sunday, the 31st of July. So, Robbie, if you're listening right now, it is Sunday, the 31st of July. Now then, good thing Robbie phones in, because there are stool space available, only £15 for a table. So you need to get there for about 3:30 this Sunday coming. Okay then. Sorry, Keith.
Yeah, as I was saying, Sunday's going to be a really exceptional afternoon of information, of knowledge, and really of giving people awareness and vision, really, of where they can take this crowdfunding. And as I said to you earlier today, it's the 21st century way of raising money, and crowdfunding is because of the internet. That's the reason why it's come around. We've been raising or raising money for centuries, hundreds of years ago, when they used to go to war to France or go to war against the Spanish and the Germans and whoever else, they used to try and raise money. Of course they used to raise money for the war effort, so raising money is nothing new. For the 21st century, they put a word on this called crowdfunding, a label. And now we are just raising money for good causes, whatever the cause. If you don't have money for whatever the things you need, there's another option than to go to a bank or go to those, bongo.com websites where you charge you 3,000%. You can actually think about raising money and get yourself out of a particular predicament, or maybe to start a new business, or for whatever reason. And then you were going to say that.
Yeah, I was going to say that, particular crowdfunding, coming from the banking industry as I come from, and dealing with customers looking at starting their business, the banks are not really been that very helpful in getting people money to get their business started.
And you're an ex-banker,
that's right. So that's why one reason why the crowdfunding is really a vital platform for people to get the money that they need to get funding. Because people have come to me, a lot of times their credit is poor, and they go to the banks decline them, or go to other financial institutions.
They're literally stuck, aren't they? They're stuck. They don't know where to go. They've got a family and friends that's exhausted, and they don't want to go back to their family and friends because they still owe them money from the last time.
That's right.
So where are they going to go? So the only thing they can do is think, okay, right, either do something that's going to maybe get them into trouble, or let's find another way. Maybe do a second job, a third job, maybe start a little business, part-time. All this is tough.
Yes.
But if you can say, well, I can join a platform, I can get on social media, I can really promote the reasons why I want to raise money, and someone out there, there's billions of eyes now on the internet every single day. Billions of eyes looking at the internet every single day. That means you've got a ready-made audience. If you can get your reasons for raising money to the masses, which is the crowd on the internet, that's the key.
Yeah, I 100% agree. 100%. So, ladies and gentlemen, the banks are there, but they're not really lending. So crowdfunding may be your only option.
And here's another thing as well. The governments can't get in the way. If somebody wants to give you money, they give you money. End of story. If somebody says, okay, you want to raise money for this operation, maybe an operation on your child, a corrective surgery, maybe something that they need to get fixed, and you want to raise money, you can give someone money. There's no way the government can say you can't have that money for your child because it was gifted to you. Someone said, I'm going to give you that money because I want to help you. And that is the key to understand to crowdfund now on the internet. You've got a reason to raise money, whatever it is.
I just want to jump in here because I remember when we had a meeting at the Chestnut Community Centre that was talking about the whole thing about, it was presented about the whole thing about crowdfunding, and one I can't remember who said that. I feel that was Manny or whoever was saying. No, someone was saying that when they go to the bank, they went to the bank for some, obviously get a loan or whatever, right? But what the bank said to them that, right? I think the one sound like £40,000, right? What the bank said to him, right? If you raise half the money, we match it at a half, right?
Yeah, it's 50-50 normally.
Right. So the brother he said to me, that makes sense because I wait for some money, so I find the money, I wouldn't go to the first place. You know what I mean? But I just want to throw it to this because it sounds a bit kind of crazy, Jeff. You got to beg for money.
No, well, that's the bank's criteria now. They only lend 50%, especially for startup businesses. Only 50%. 50%. So you have to find the other 50. So a lot of people don't have that 50%. If you're talking about £50,000 and they haven't raised £25,000. Where are you going to find that? They say, well, that's why I've come here. The only option, which people may not know about, is the Startup Loan Fund. The Startup Loan Fund now, which is a government backed initiative. People can get up to £25,000, but there's still a process to go through to get that, and they still are looking for people to make some sort of contribution towards the overall project.
What I like about just getting people to have a paradigm shift, get their mind to think differently. The institutions have been around for centuries, lending us money based on either our credit worthiness or our assets, or our asset class, what we've got in the background. They're not going to just throw money at you unless they really feel that, one, you're going to give them their money back, and two, if you don't give them their money back, they know where to go and get it from. Yes? So that's the bottom line. But if you think about what we're talking about tonight in terms of crowdfunding and what you can do with the crowdfunding space, you are raising money and there's no loan agreement. You're raising it and you walk away. And Sister Juliet, when she dials in tonight, she'll tell you she doesn't have to pay that money back. She's raised the money for her cause, a good cause. And that is the key. You're not saying I'm getting a grant or a loan or some kind of a bond or some kind of arrangement. You're raising money and you're walking away and doing what you need to do with that money.
But Keith, you made a point a couple of weeks ago, and it's an interesting point where there's these individuals, they raise some money for, was it a watch? Right? And I think they wanted some, correct me if I misread the information there, Keith. I feel like, is it £50,000 or something like that?
Yeah, okay, right. The company's called Pebble Watch.
Pebble Watch.
All the listeners tonight, Google Pebble Watch.
Okay.
P-E-E-B-L-E. Pebble Watch. It's one of those success stories from the crowdfunding space. I got another one just come to me a few weeks ago. But it's a success story from the crowdfunding space. They needed $500,000 to get their watch company off the ground. Yeah, $500,000. Yes, I'm not sure which platform they went to, either Kickstarter or Indiegogo. But check out Pebble Watch, and they were able to raise $12.5 million. That's what they were able to get. They were overfunded. Now, they didn't just take the $500,000 and leave the balance. They took the whole lot, every bit. Now, that's a business platform. Great idea. It's a watch company. But they went to the crowdfunding platform, the space, to raise that money. They didn't go to a bank or a Dragon's Den. They went to the crowdfunding space. Now, I have another example. Only come to me this week. I'll show it to you when we're offline. And I have one of them, those currency exchange cards, yeah? I won't mention the name, but I found this card of, is it Martin's Money? That guy? He always recommends these cool deals, yeah? I saw him one morning, like at 8 o'clock in the morning. I said, let me Google this FX card. It's a currency card. When I travel around the world, I only pay the currency exchange. I don't pay any charges, any fees, any handling charges. So whatever the exchange rate is what, and I get a better exchange rate than the bank. Now, I've had the card for a year. I've been, promoting it. I don't get nothing from it. I just promote it to people. So that's networking anyway, isn't it? That's network marketing. I don't get nothing from it. Now, 2 weeks ago, they text me, because it's all online. It's an app. You download the app, you get the card, you transfer money onto it, you can travel around the world, and you get the best exchange rates. They text me about 2 weeks ago to say that they're looking to raise $1 million through crowdfunding. Crowdcube is the platform they were going to use. They sent me a text about 3 days ago. Guess how much they raised? Over £11 million. They wanted to raise $1 million. They said it will be a record for Crowdcube. Okay. Now, what I'm saying to you, okay, these guys didn't go to a bank. They've got a really cool app. They're in Canary Wharf, a really cool FX card. But they didn't think about going to the market or to the bank. They went to the crowdfunding platform, and as they've got about 8,000 or 10,000 users on their database now, they already had an instant crowd. Plus, outside of that crowd, listen, they sent me a text: do I want to donate or do I want to invest? The bottom line is they sent me a message about back to you. They were oversubscribed. 11 million pounds raised or pledged. But that's still cool. From 1 million to 11 million. Come on. That's another story. I'll show you the messages when we come offline, man. But the bottom of what I'm saying to you, more and more success stories and more understanding is being imparted to people so that they can really know what the space can do for them. And the more we make our community aware, the more that we make people who need help aware that this is an alternative. They don't have to go to bongo.com and get some stupid, dummy loan, which is going to cost them 3,000%. They can look elsewhere to raise that money, man.
And in fact, just to ride on that, because I know that Keith was saying that when Barack Obama was running for president, right, he raised over 750 million pounds. Dollars, yeah? Yeah. So that just shows you, and Barack Obama wasn't even known them. He wasn't known. You just come on the scene, Imagine that, $750 million.
He raised over 50% of his campaign fund when he was running for his first term. Yeah? So no one really knew him. He was just one of these punks from Chicago, man, I don't call him a punk. I mean, in terms of endearing, man, lovely guy, man, and his lovely wife. But he was an unknown. Okay, he was getting some momentum. They started to believe. Yes we can. But he raised over $750 million. The average donation was about $80 per person to his campaign. He outstripped what he raised from private investors as well as the crowdfunding space. He did more than what the Republicans did. He absolutely blew them away. Raised the game on crowdfunding.
Okay, you have a question you want to ask, Keith, or you want to come in? Or?
No. Okay. I'm just really agreeing with Keith because as I said it works. And Keith talks about our people. Our people need to know that we're disadvantaged to a certain extent. And we need to look at other ways and means of raising funding. And sometimes when people come to me, and I really can't help them, because of their credit is poor, they got no money. Crowdfunding, it gives them that alternative, to help they get their business off the ground or their idea, whatever it is.
Absolutely. Okay, the live link number 07960-239-493. And Robbie, as I said, the event was taking place is this Sunday coming, not Saturday. I made a mistake if I said Saturday. This Sunday coming at the Parkview Academy. It's usually the last Saturday month, but it's happening. It will be this Sunday at the 31st of July. So the live link number is 07960-239-493. So you're locked into SLR Radio. This is Find Your Voice. And we have Brother Keith inside the host, and also we have Brother Jeff.
A golden aura shines on my center, reminding me I am also part of Mother Nature, made in the image of the Almighty, reflecting divine power daily. There's no denying her beauty, immaculately created, perfectly crafted to soothe my soul. Take a look around at the wonders that I found. hustling, there's no resting. Try to be a man and stay strong, 'cause life is hard. You can't find a good job, costs go up in the stages. So reflecting your wages, and I know it seems your nightmares, no more dreams. For the sake of your own, you must keep pushing. You're a warrior in the sky. I can see it when I look into your eyes. You're a warrior in the skies. You can run or you can hide. You're a warrior in the skies. I can see it when I look into your eyes. You're a warrior in the skies. You can run or you can hide. Don't you worry, King, God is listening, and I know that you're more than trying. As the bills pop high and the time flies by, it's that to ask yourself if, when, and why. If your life is blessed, why you have so much stress, and when will you be really above all the tests? It's a daily thing that you're battling, and you just wanna have a better standard of living. You're a warrior in disguise. I can see it when I look into your eyes. You're a warrior in disguise. And you can run or you can hide. You're a warrior in disguise. I can see it when I look into your eyes. You're a warrior in disguise. And you can run or you can hide. Maroon on my side, gorilla or samurai. You're a soldier on a battlefield of daily life. Maroon on my side, gorilla or samurai. You're a soldier on a battlefield of daily life. Maroon on my side, gorilla or samurai. You're a soldier on a battlefield of daily life. Maroon on my side.
Juliet, can you hear us?
You're a soldier on a battlefield
Juliet?
of daily life.
Hello, Juliet? Hang on, I'm not quite got you.
And welcome towards your destiny. 'Cause this is what you've been called for.
Okay.
This is what
Hello, Juliet?
Yes?
Okay, that's better now. We've got you. All right, Juliet. So we just mentioned your name that you're gonna phone in because you are a success story. Juliet?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, from the crowdfunding.
Yeah.
But let people know exactly how much money you raised and the time frame, because Keith did mention it, but we want to make sure we've got the right information because we don't want no misinformation, you know? So,
No, I mean, our target was £1,801. That we raised 1,890. It was just to secure advertisement and to have a press conference and to do, outreach to the media, which we did. So we only aimed at what we needed.
right. And then you had a day's spare, I understand, yeah?
Sorry?
You had a day's...
Yeah, we hit target, yeah.
Hit your
We had
target.
1 day left to go.
Okay, then, fantastic. Well, Julia, I went to go to the press conference because I know the important press conference taking place tomorrow, right? I want to touch on that, right? But also let people know what you'll be speaking about on the this Sunday coming.
Yeah, this Sunday coming, what I intend to do is to just go through the procedures that we went through in order to set up our Just Giving campaign, and also to relate to the audience the practicality of it. Because I've seen people launch, for example, crowdfunding platforms with unrealistic targets that don't appeal to people. And like I said previously on your show before, there are different types of crowd giving as well. So there's like rewards-based, equity-based, and then there are those that you just, seeking funding for a project. And I think that we need to look at them individually because they all have different usages and different, uses for different applications. So I'll probably briefly touch on that and actually go through a crowdfunding platform, how to set one up. All being well, if technology works well for me, then I'll actually show everybody how to set up a crowdfunding appeal themselves.
Right. Okay then, fantastic. Okay then, touch a little bit about the press conference what's taking place tomorrow. So people, is it just open for people in the press, or can come down there? As it work?
No, it's not exclusively for people in the press. It will be streaming worldwide tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
So actually, do you know what? I should have got the screening information. One second. I just want to grab my iPad. Well, basically, the press conference tomorrow is obviously open to anyone in the press. In fact, today I was at ITN, ITV, and I was at Channel 4. I spent an hour on the phone speaking with the BBC and lining up coverage. I also spoke to South London Press. So it's been interesting. I did speak to someone, and I did physically hand the information over as well. So it's hopeful. We'll see what the outcome is. But yeah, it's definitely open. I think a lot of people have never had the chance to go to a press conference, and reparations is for all. So it would be a good opportunity for people to come and experience it. They could even write a blog off it, or you start a conversation or a group, or, start writing about it. And how do you get to know about these things unless you attend these events? Which is why I've tried to put it out in the public so that, people that have that interest can also attend. But, this wouldn't have been possible without the donors from the Just Giving campaign, because the Just Giving campaign was able to support reparations in a different way, I think. And August the 1st is a very important day for us. And this march is going to also be very important, and I'd love for us to have record numbers of people this year, which is why the advertising campaign was so crucial. Because since speaking to you, it has actually expanded, so it's done incredibly well. We've had it for 2 days in the Metro. It's going to be out in the Metro again on Friday. It's also running for the week, which ends this Thursday in the West End Extra, which was a big ad in there. And also running in the hopefully in the Voice on Thursday.
It'll be the Voice Thursday.
Yeah, the Voice should be at the press conference tomorrow.
Okay then.
They should be reported from the Voice there tomorrow.
Okay then. Because I know Keith, you're going to be at the press conference tomorrow, Keith. Yeah.
Yes, Juliet. How are you, Sister Juliet?
Hello. Hi.
How are you doing?
Yeah, do you know what? Today's been such a busy day. Honestly, I went from ITV and to, like I was saying, just all over the place today.
Fantastic.
So it's been incredibly busy. I'm actually just doing the PowerPoint for tomorrow's projection as we speak.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the invitation. I shall be up and out early. I'm going to be braving the rush hour traffic to get down there.
Yeah, so am I actually, but I'm going to leave extra early because we have a rehearsal at 9 o'clock.
Rehearsal, wow. This is more than a press conference then, huh? well done. I mean, I'm looking forward to, I'm just looking to be forward to just being part of the atmosphere and just the, just the buzz and the success that you've had. It's going to be really great to just be part of that.
I think it's a historic moment for all of us because, I was on a radio show which I called in. Esther was featured on BBC Radio. Working Action Group has been doing a lot behind the scenes to, obviously promote reparations. So that's been part of our remit with Brother Delaney, who's the media officer, and another gentleman as well that we've been working with. His name absolutely slips me, which is terrible, but a lovely man anyway. Anyway, we've been working with them with regard to that. So we secured some interviews for Sister Esther Stanford Jose, and she was on BBC Radio in Luton, BBC Radio in Derbyshire.
Yeah.
She was on BBC Radio in Merseyside, and also in 3 counties.
Sure. Yeah.
And she's on BBC Radio London on this Sunday on Dr. Adebayo's show as well. All being well, I'm waiting for that to be confirmed, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that. And
sorry, Julie, she's on Dawn Adebayo show. What, this Sunday or this Sunday just gone?
Yeah,
this Sunday coming.
Yeah.
Okay then.
All being well. I spoke to Valley Fontaine, so I'm hoping that it's confirmed.
Okay. I'm fine. I saw Sunday at the event we took place, Valley Fontaine.
Yeah, she's lovely.
Yeah, I know get to know her quite well. But people might hear the word reparation for the very first time. Just break down word reparation and what are we marching for on the 1st of August. Of August, that's right. Thank you very much.
Well, I mean, firstly, it's to raise awareness about reparations itself. And reparations, it means to repair. It's about internal and external repair. And it's hinged on 5 pillars, like I said before. And it's also about the Stop the Ma'angamisi petition, which is We Charge Genocide, Ecocide, which is being delivered. And, the two, if you like, marry quite interestingly, in the sense that reparation, it looks at, restitution, restoration. It looks at satisfaction. It looks at guarantees of non-repetition. It looks at compensation, and it goes to the fabric of, what genocide is, because a lot of people don't really relate to genocide. When they think of genocide, they just think, lots of dead bodies. But no, it talks about, removing you from, your place. So, like, for example, we have slave owners' names. We don't have our natural names. So we're displaced. A lot of us face discrimination and racism here. So we're still facing harm. We don't have our own natural religions. We have those that were imposed on us by, the colonial enslavers when they went into chattel slavery. And, much of our identity isn't our own. Our culture isn't our own. Our language isn't our own. So we are actually displaced. And if you look to the core of it, it's, on the basis of what was done for hundreds and hundreds of years. This genocide has lasted for hundreds and hundreds of years. So I do speak a lot about genocide because that is for me what it is. So when they say we charge genocide, ecocide, I agree with that because the land grabs, the land stealing, the usage of our resources while they exploit and kill us is happening all over the world. So this is why reparations is important. It's because it's not something just of the past, it's actually something current. The fact that we are overrepresented in the criminal justice system, the fact that we are overrepresented in the courts, underrepresented in positions of power, both politically and in any other industry. We are overrepresented in mental institutions. Right. We are overrepresented in the media when it comes to negative stories. Mm-hmm. For example, when I was at the, I think it was ITN today, I said to Monica, the lady that I met, that when it comes to stories such as us marching for justice, the mainstream media brush over it unless it's a death or it's a tragedy or it's something that involves violence. or it's something very cultural and light-hearted. But when it comes to us demanding political and legal reform, it's not lots of fun.
Okay.
So say, for example...
I just want to see if I could jump in here, Sister Julia, because and the reason I'm jumping in because most people out there were saying that why should we marching? You know what I mean? You know, marching goes nowhere and so forth. But I just want to bring it out because people are listening.
Yeah, no.
So I just want to
Marching works. I mean, there's no doubt about it. When you see a crowd of people, how does it make you feel?
make you feel charged, make you feel inspired, empowered. Well, I've had the experience of being involved in marching over the whole thing about the bench shop. So I've got a good experience. You know what I mean? So, but that's me and our group. But some people do have certain kind of that we shouldn't be marching and this and that. I just want to bring it to the mix because that's the kind of argument people's going to bring out there.
Well, to be fair, I look at it like this. This isn't the only protest or march I've ever been involved in.
Right.
I marched against Monsanto and GMO foods. What was the result of that march? You don't have those foods now.
Right.
So when you talk about change coming from protest, it happens all the time.
Yes.
How do you think the emancipation of slavery came about?
Through marching.
It was 3,000 revolts.
Yeah.
It was us marching. It was us. You know, how did we stop apartheid? There is still obviously unequal distribution of wealth.
Right.
And of course it's still, you know, along the kind of paradigms. But at the same time, you've got to look at the accomplishments that our ancestors have achieved through protest, through raising awareness.
Because I just have to bring it into the just want to bring it out because you know it's very important that you express that people understand why. But Joe, what I want to do now because I know that you're still working away, and we do have brother Jeffrey in the house, and also we do have brother Keith. So I wonder if you can give out your is that email address people can contact you if you want more information?
Yes, yes. Hang on a sec. I wanted to give you the streaming address as well. I got carried away and I forgot to look. Give you a sec.
Yeah, give us the streaming.
Hang on, I'm just waiting to see find the email. 1 second.
And as I said before, you're really a diamond among us,
Thank you so much. Hang on a minute, is this it?
Okay, Julia, while you're looking for the number, I just want to give out the live link number.
Yeah.
So those people who want to phone in, the number is 07960-239-493. And we have, as I said in the host, we have Brother Jeff inside the host. And we do have Brother Keith inside the host. And these are the Millionaire Mindset Man, them, and so. All right, then, come through. You got the details for us?
It hasn't actually come in, and I don't know why. I've been waiting for it. Hang on. Emails are coming in as I speak. Basically, we're streaming the conference live worldwide tomorrow. And I'm waiting for the streaming address to come through on my email. I was told that it was sent to me. So I might have to call you back because I know you've got lots of other callers that want to speak tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'd just like to say thank you to all of the donors, to the Just Giving campaign.
Okay.
I'd like to say thank you to TCTK Media. I'd like to give a big thanks to Sister Eve, Sister Emma, the whole of the WAG team, and the African Emancipation Reparations March Committee. Because I don't often get to say thank you, but it's been a great team effort, and tomorrow should be a really wonderful achievement for us as a community, and I want us all to really be pleased about it.
Okay then, Sister Juliet, you give thanks.
Oh, hang on.
Okay.
Oh, someone just texted me to say I'm hearing you on the radio, Juliet. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Oh, Sandra, hello, sis. You all right? Thanks for that.
Okay then. So,
okay then, brother. So, tomorrow, Brother Keith, I'll see you at the press conference.
Yes, you will. I'm going to leave the studio in the next hour and a bit, and then I'm going to be up again early to come along to this press conference that I'm looking forward to.
Brilliant. Don't forget to get the Metro on Friday.
Yes, I will.
Going out.
I'll pop down to my local tube station and pick one up. If I'm not out and about on
more
Friday.
Colourful.
Definitely. Okay then. Thank you very much, Sister Juliet.
Okay, thank you so much. Keep up the good work, everyone.
okay, thank you.
And thank you to all the listeners.
Give thanks, Juliet.
Yeah, pick yourself up. Thank you, Brother Dougie. You're lovely.
Okay, you're lovely as well. All right.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Thank you again, my sister. Okay, then, that was our beautiful sister, Juliet. Just, of course, she's worked very hard, that sister there. Very committed, very focused, very, very disciplined, very organized. Okay.
Mama, I'm changing, rearranging, reflecting.
Become very proud and very egotistic about the fact that their collateral is a house and a car, or even two cars. And this for me is where, when I speak to you, my brother Keith, and we use words like legacy, I think a certain perception. When you speak of Les Brown and Anthony Robbins, brother Dougie, that's where I take all this. That a certain mindset need to be established. It's like if you're going to make a bed, you have to make sure the mattress is good before you just spread upon it, make it look pretty. Because when you lie down upon it, it's like a mash. So at the end of the Bible, it says a foundation of a good, it can't build upon sand, if you build upon good rock and stuff that will hold the thing. And I believe that our people need some of that. I think the young generation is a long thing because they don't even know what we're talking about right now. They don't even know what we're talking about. Most of the young generation is just a couple, them have a 9 bar, them sell a few bag of weed, and them has a shot and then shot hard food or whatever. And they can't save even that. But even if they was doing something constructive with that, they'd be able to save that and think of the word legacy and think of what Les Brown says. When people out there, Les Brown said, when people out there say, money's not that important, like some of our people believe, money is the root of all evil, which is the most destructive, indoctrination ever given to black people, ever in our history, was that money is the root of all evil. Because people who have money don't believe that. It's only poor people believe that. But Les Brown says, if people say money ain't important, he said, let me tell you, money is important. And guess what? If it's not the most important thing in life, it's right up there with oxygen. Yeah, man.
Thank you. That's great, really inspirational. Thank you.
Hi, greetings.
Greetings. Okay then. You want to make a contribution?
That would be lovely.
Okay then. So what we have to say?
Wow, I've got to say I've got some great news today.
Okay then.
The crowdfunding campaign that we had running successfully hit target before the campaign ended. And we actually got more than what we asked for.
It's fantastic. Who am I speaking to?
Sorry?
Who am I speaking to?
Juliet.
Juliet, fantastic. Thank you very much for contributing tonight. That's the kind of call we need in. So you took advantage of a crowdfunding platform. You placed a project on there, and you said you hit target before your end time, your end date. Yes, you're on the line. You had some information, or obviously you've got some limited understanding on regarding the space. Yeah.
Okay.
But you said a few things which I'm going to try and help you with the understanding, because obviously it is a big space, and there's lots of things in that space, in the crowdfunding space. There are lots of different. The crowdfunding has been developed over the past 7 to 8 years, probably about 8 years now. Some very famous businesses, famous individuals have raised money through crowdfunding. But don't get daunted by the name, Angela, because crowdfunding, we've been doing it for centuries anyway. It's really funding from the crowd, but this time the crowd actually is on the internet. Yep. So what we're doing is we're now going to raise donations, raise money for different causes through the internet, and that's where the label crowdfunding. Just think of it, funding from the crowd. There are many platforms. Okay, and the website is www.livestream.djmrp.com. I'll repeat, www.livestream.djmrp.com.
Okay, all right then. So that is the live stream. So if you log into that, you will get the live stream coming through. Okay, just one more time. Sorry, Berkey, just one more time.
One more time, www.livestream.dr.Mr.P. All one word, Doctor. So DJMrP.com. I'll repeat that again, sorry. I'm seeing doctors. Okay, www.livestream.djmrP.com. That was the website.
Okay, fantastic. Okay then, we're gonna jumping back into your reasoning. The live link number again, because the kid's not gonna stay there all night, right? And also you'll do a Jeffrey, probably want to make a move very shortly as well, right? So just the live link number is 07960239493. I'm talking about all thing about business, all thing about crowdfunding, all thing about finance. Please phone in and ask a question to our guests who inside the studio. And as I said, all roads lead to Pathway Academy this Sunday, and I'm very excited because we put on so many different kind of events, but we haven't put on one focusing around all thing about crowdfunding, all thing about finance. And as Keith said last week, out of supreme wisdom, right? And I know that Jeffrey would agree with that. If we like it or not, well, no one's going to like it or not, we need money. It's the bottom line.
Of course, yeah.
We need money.
Yeah, unfortunately we do.
And I guarantee, if you look at certain people on the road, they right about now, right? One, the chance they have right now is money. Is money. And someone taught me a lesson, I'll never forget this, right, a few years ago. And he said that, he said that never let money be obstacle to get to where you want to go to. He said use your creativity. And when he said that to me, that really just made so much, everything just started to come, I started to use my creativity. It makes so much sense. Use your creativity. And crowdfunding is a creative way of raising finance. And don't forget, right, right? And Keith brings to the table all the time the partner system, right? If we never come that kind of system, you know what I mean?
We had a lot of fun with that last week, didn't we, brother Dougie? Didn't we? We talked about the partner system, and I remember last week there was this idea of partner online.
Partner online.
Yeah, it's not my idea. So if anybody's listening at it, it's not your idea either.
Yeah. So to me, it's all about being creative. Using ways to raising funds for our business, for your personal goals.
Brother Dougie, let me just quickly just tag on there when you talk about the partner system. You know why the partner system kind of really grew into a life of its own is because in the early days when our parents and our parents came here, the banks weren't lending them any money. So they had to find a way to raise money to buy property, rent, all kind of stuff. Just need to get that money for that rainy day, or just to save up. And the partner system came, so it's a huge group, a massive collective, and we all pitch in the same amount. And one week someone gets something, then the following week someone else gets something, and that system kind of got them a hand, isn't it? Yeah. So we got banker, but it was a community thing, and we worked all together. Everybody agreed they're going to pitch in every single week, and someone will get a hand. Exactly. Like that, brother Jeffrey. It has to be trust. That's what. And on Sunday, I'm going to talk about the similar system to what we have in Crowdfunding International, which is a similar partner system, but it's a clever partner system of the 21st century. But as you said, brother Jeffrey, we all got hands, and my mum still runs partner in New York. She has a big. She's a banker. She's been doing it for as long as I've been going there, 20 years.
And she's West Indian parents. Their family was a banker.
Of course. And they handle a lot of money. I go around I see he's got thousands of dollars, man, and then someone come around and collect their hand, and they give the bank a little $20 or a little $50, isn't it? Holding up the money. So that's the deal.
Definitely.
But big hands, big hands. So the partner system, we're already used to. We understand the way that we crowdfund. We understand it already. But really, we're going to talk a lot about working together and putting all together in this new space called crowdfunding of the 21st century.
One of the things I do as well, I'm part of a credit union, which is on the back of partner, where communities came together with a common bond, and they saved, and then they borrowed at a low competitive rate, than the banks. I'm still involved in that, but crowdfunding, as I said, at the end of the day, no interest to pay back. Also depend on the platform you are on. Yes. But at the end of the day, the money is yours.
And absolutely, and that's the thing I love about what we're going to talk about on Sunday. We're going to get people right up to speed, right up to speed, current, cutting edge, right now, here and now. We're going to show people what they need to do, how they need to do it, and how they need to get themselves in a position where they don't feel like they're begging, they feel like they're raising, And we're going to raise some champions on Sunday.
That's right. Get it. Live link number 07960-239-493. So please phone in and ask questions. And if you've got a business or an idea, we want to hear from you. We want to hear from what is your idea? What's the chance you have in terms of raising finance for your business? So please phone in and contribute. Let's get interactive there. Let's get some kind of reasoning going and just start talking, and each one teach one. That's how it rolls. Each one teach one. Find out we can learn a lot from those who phone in and your contribution. The live link number 07960-239-493. And we've been talking a lot for the last few weeks out there about crowdfunding, finance, business, and we have a brother who
spent many years working in a bank, and he can
Business loans, anything from 5 million to 1 million, they are giving decisions very, very quickly for businesses. So if you have a business and you're listening tonight and you have a business, of course, we've got many platforms out there. Maybe take a look at our platform if it's a small business, it's a medium-sized business, and there are other platforms you can look at there. But the crowdfunding space is certainly a space where it's giving you an option to be able to raise donations, raise money, raise the collateral you're going to need to improve your business, expand your business, start your business. So hopefully that's answered his question. In as much as he needs to come along on Sunday, take a look at what we're doing, and decide whether or not this is something that he wants to investigate further. We just want to get everyone aware that the space exists. It's not, it's a small space. Let me say, when we call it space, it's an industry, but it's a small space, and it's less than $10 billion in loans at the moment per annum. Most of that is in the US and Europe, but it's a growing space, So it's when you look at the graph and how it's been growing over the last few years, it is going exponentially because people are lending money, borrowing money. People are donating money in that space. So it's a fast-growing space. If you compare it to the banking world, of course, it's minuscule, it's tiny, but it's gathering some momentum.
Okay, live link number 07960-239-493. So again, thank you, my brother, for answering the question about the other thing about crowdfunding, etc. So give thanks. And we said that this Sunday, we were going to the other thing about crowdfunding, and we'll be interested that there are people there who will be breaking down things about crowdfunding, and also you can take off key main purpose will be is for those to take advantage of crowdfunding, and he does represent an organization called International Crowdfunding. Crowdfunding International, where one can take advantage of that and position yourself as a project manager. So it's all about now. It's about finance now. It's about really raising finance and get a mindset. The whole thing of raising money for your organization. Okay then, the live link number 07960-239-493. I repeat, 07960-239-493, and let's get those calls rolling. Right, so we want people to interact with us. Okay.
You made some very good points. There are many platforms out there. Some will only do businesses. Some will only do charities. Yeah, and that's absolutely fine. Some will not entertain any limited company or limited entity.
That's what mine just.
Some platforms, but there are many platforms now in the space, and it's a fast-growing space with I think in excess of over $6 billion now that's been raised through crowdfunding platforms in the last 12 months. So
when you say dollars, because dollars is American.
Well, it's still a currency, isn't it? Okay, let's call it £5 million then. I don't know. I mean, the bottom line is that it doesn't matter if it's dollars or not. This is there are global platforms, not just in America, but obviously across Europe as well. I think.
Are you saying that you can tap into money from other countries as well?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, crowdfunding, the crowdfunding space allows you to raise donations for whatever idea, cause, whatever reason you want to raise money for. You just got to find the right platform that works for you.
Okay, can I ask you a question? So if it's an existing project that you're doing already, can you go for crowdfunding, or does it have to be a new project?
No, it doesn't have to be a new project. It can be an existing project.
Okay.
It can be an association, a charity. It can be a personal project, and I think Brother Dougie alluded to that a bit earlier, that you can raise money for anything personally if you have the right platform.
Right.
And I mean, that means not necessarily a business, because most people think of crowdfunding and they link it with a business raising idea. Well, it's not necessarily have to be for a business.
Okay.
So it's an interesting space. We're going to talk about it in the next sort of, for the next half an hour to an hour, and we're obviously going to take calls on it as well. So, we've got an event on the 31st of July, which is Sunday the 31st of July. Come along to the event. I'm sure most of your questions will be answered.
Better part of your academy.
Oh, okay.
Get better part of your academy, and that's on the 31st of July, where we go into the whole thing. What is crowdfunding, right? Look at how we can take advantage of crowdfunding, and also the best sister Julia. We're talking about different kind of funding and how you can finance your business organization. So we're really going into bit depth on the 31st.
Have you even heard of crowdfunding? What is crowdfunding? This is an opportunity to finance your organization, your business, and your personal goals, or even getting out of debt. Come and learn more. There will be a panel discussion on how you can take advantage of crowdfunding. Date on Sunday, 31st of July, 2016. Time 4:30 to 7:30. Venue, Barview Academy, which is on West Green Road, London N15 3RB. Tickets only £5. Also get tickets from Body Music. If you want to promote your business or have a store, please contact Brother Dougie on 0788-240-3871 or 07960-239-493. This event is promoted and sponsored by Find Your Voice and Supreme TV. Take advantage of crowdfunding. Have you even heard of crowdfunding? What is crowdfunding? This is an opportunity to finance your organization, your business, and your personal goals, or even getting out of debt. Come and learn more. There will be a panel discussion on how you can take advantage of crowdfunding. Date on Sunday, 31st of July, 2016. Time 4:30 to 7:30. Venue, Barview Academy, which is on West Green Road, London N15 3RB. Tickets only £5. Also get tickets from Body Music. If you want to promote your business or have a store, please contact Brother Dougie on 0788-240-3871 or 07960-239-493. This event is promoted and sponsored by Find Your Voice and Supreme TV. Take advantage of crowdfunding.
How one can take advantage of crowdfunding, and then we touched about crowdfunding on the radio, and also brother Josie who will be talking about what is crowdfunding, because you need to know exactly what is crowdfunding. You need to have a brief history, a background about what is crowdfunding, and also Sister Juliet. And Sister, if you're listening now, please phone in and give us our input about the event that was taking place on the 31st. I know you'll be one of the speakers, Sister Juliet from the Working Action Group. So if you're listening now, Juliet, please feel free to phone in. So that's taking place on Sunday, 31st of July. Time 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the venue is Parkview Academy, which is on West Green Road, London N15 3RB. And I said the time is from 4 to 8, and it's Sunday, the 31st of July. Repeat, Sunday, the 31st of July, because we usually have events on the last Saturday of the month, but this will be the Sunday, which will be the last Sunday, the 31st of July. And the price, only £5. Now then, I know the tickets will be going, well, by next week tickets will be going quite fast. Tickets are £5. You can buy on the door, no problem. You can pay on the door as well. It'll be £5.
Can't stay long, man.
For more information,
Yes, radio ready.
For more information, please contact me.
Yes. Yeah, agree. This is Jeff, the radio ready. I just want to know who's funding crowdfunding. Who's funding it, and want to know what's the negative thing think about it, you know, any kind of thing. I mean, why can't we just expand on the partner system? Why can't we just redevelop that and bring it into the 21st century? I mean, but who's funding a crowdfunding, and what's the negative sides of it? Is there any side thing that might be not good for us? Any negative side in it? That's my 3 questions. You know?
Okay, thank you for dialing in.
All right, I'll hang up and listen, yeah?
No, you don't have to. No, you can listen in.
No,
you sure? You can
money.
listen? It's okay. Okay, right. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about, you asked the question, crowdfunding and who's funding crowdfunding. Well, let's get one point really across to the listeners tonight. Crowdfunding isn't a company or a particular platform. It's just the name of the space, the industry that's growing, and it's the industry called crowdfunding. It's a label that's been placed on an activity that's been really gathering momentum for the past 7 to 8 years. Since the internet has become this really big monster that we're all connected to, and then since the growth of the social media platforms that we all have access to, crowdfunding itself has now become a growth area, because now the internet means that the world is close. Everybody's close. We're not 6 degrees of separation anymore. We're probably 2 or 3 degrees of separation. That means now we've got billions of people, or we have access to billions of people through social media. So crowdfunding really has just been developed over the past 7-8 years because of the growth of the internet and the reach that the internet has, and how we can get out there and we can actually connect with so many people through what we call social media networks. So the question you ask is, who's behind crowdfunding, or the money in crowdfunding. All it is just a label based on the activity from companies, platforms bringing the crowd to the idea, the person with the idea. So if you have an idea, the crowd will come to you and give you money for that idea. So that's the first thing to really understand. Now, there are many platforms or companies that are out there, or call them platform-stroke companies, but these are entities that have been formed over the past 7-8 years. Again, some are very, very big. Some raise millions and millions and millions of dollars for businesses, for business ideas. A little bit like the Dragon's Den, but can you just imagine Dragon's Den? Billions times over, where people can raise money. So these platforms have now surfaced and are now gaining a lot of traction. And all they do is they put the project initiator, the person with the idea, the project manager, the person who wants to raise money, together with the crowd that will then give them the money for that particular idea, project, business, charity, association, organization, personal, individual. The platform is the vehicle that brings the crowd to you, the person with the idea. That's very important to understand as well. And there are many types of crowdfunding platforms out there. And as I said in the previous weeks, there are crowdfunding platforms specifically for charities. If you're not a charity, you can't raise money. There are crowdfunding platforms that are specifically for businesses. These platforms raise money and then lend money to businesses, and they give it at a rate which is maybe far better than the bank's rate, and they do it in an efficient, very quick way. And then you've got other platforms that are there to help people to get themselves out of hardship, maybe for personal reasons. They want to raise money, whatever it is, to do with health issues, maybe to do with family issues, maybe to do with a small to medium-sized enterprise they want to get off the ground. Maybe it's some community initiative. And there are platforms now that are sprouting up left, right, and center all over the internet that are going to help people to put their cause, their reason on the platform, and then it gets spread around the world, around the internet, so people can see it and decide whether or not they want to put their hand in their pocket. And I just want you to really finish on this point. crowdfunding is nothing new. The word is new, but the crowdfunding activity is nothing new. Every year we have different charitable organizations like Red Nose Day and Children in Need. Now they use the medium which is the television. Not really on the internet, you just watch on TV, and basically they use that medium, but they've been doing it for years.
Well, let's take this caller. Sorry. Greetings.
Oh, greetings.
Oh, greetings, my sister. You all right?
Greetings, Brother Dougie. How are you?
Yeah, everything's good, man. Everything's fantastic.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm listening to the show, and it's a great show, and I love the idea of crowdfunding. And I just wondered, just really thinking, obviously hearing that with funding businesses, and I just wonder if yourself and your studio guests believe that this is going to be the new way, if it's going to take over the old business plan and, going to the bank, and do we still feel that's probably going to pass in the future? I just want to ask each of you, what do you think?
Okay, great question. Thanks for dialing in as well. I'll go first. Is that right, Brother Jeffrey? Because I know you're the bank manager here, so you can answer from a banking perspective. I'll just say that we're firmly in the 21st century, so we have to take a look at what is moving, what's trending, what's really happening now, and raising money. As I said before, we've been doing it for an awful long time, but on the internet, it's only happening since about the last 8 to 10 years. Not really very long. They put a label on it. So will it replace, the centuries old institution called banks and lending companies? No, it won't replace it anytime soon. Will it run alongside as an option for customers? Of course it will, absolutely. In actual fact, if you was to do a Google search now and look at some of the top performing crowdfunding platforms for businesses, they are lending, nowhere near the banks, but they are really being very aggressive out there, and they're lending money. So they obviously borrow money. They get money in and they lend money out. That's what they do. They're just a peer-to-peer. They will get investors. One of the crowdfunding platforms that I mentioned earlier, they've got over 43,000 investors which lend money, and they lend the money out to businesses and to startups, anything for up to $1 million. So will it replace the banking system that we have in place? Well, Brother Jeffrey, I'll let you answer that question, because I don't believe it will.
No, it won't. You've got to remember as well that, your money, the bank gets your money, and it gives you a limited savings on it, and it lends out at a high interest rate. And so, that's how the bank make his money.
Sounds like they're already crowdfunding.
Well, that's right. Yeah, and they lend it between the banks, and then they charge you a higher rate of interest to borrow money. But now the banks, because of the economy and because of the banks have been hit with the recession over the years, the banks are very, very cautious who they lend their money to. And most banks operate on a 50-50 rule. If you go to them, want to borrow money, especially a startup business, it's 50-50, and not many people have that 50-50 to put up. And so crowdfunding offers an alternative for going to the bank, and in all cases you won't have to put up your house as security. People see the need. They have their heart and passion, and they want to invest in what your idea and what you're doing, and they just give towards that, and whatever amount you raise over and above the requirement is yours. It's yours. No one can take that back from you.
Absolutely, and as I said, you have a great question. I think that as it starts to grow, as it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's a much wider awareness. At the moment, there's very little awareness, very few people. If I go out and in the course of a day and ask 100 people, maybe 20, 30 people might have heard of the word crowdfunding. The rest of them say, crowd what? So it's very, very early in its growth stage. But like with anything, like with the mobile, like with the internet, it will grow, and it will become now a part of the options to raise money. And in actual fact, banks will then have to become more competitive. They'll have to be a bit more understanding, and they'll have to have a criteria looked at so that they can compete with the platforms that are now really making it very difficult for them because they're lending when they're not going to when the banks don't lend.
I think that's important. It's about the knowledge, because I see clients every week and I deliver a training course from time to time on raising finance for your business, and you'll be surprised not many people know or heard about crowdfunding, and we discuss it. So as you said, if more and more people hear about crowdfunding, then it will offer them an alternative.
I think that's a very good question. Thanks very much for asking that question.
Okay. You got any more questions you want to ask?
Yes, I actually have just another question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think I heard Keith say clearly that the way you market it, the way you put it together is very, very important. And I just wondered, was there any marketing ideas that you have of how people can, because it's for each platform, so that it is attracts the crowd. Have you got any ideas? Can you share with us?
Okay, that's a very good.
To make sure your platform stands out from the rest.
All right, you just keep brain cells to the limit. I know it's great, but it's after one. You push the brain cells to.
You know why? Because I'm feeling, if you look at, say with the bank, they want a good business plan, don't they?
Yeah.
So if you're marketing to the crowd, they want something, people like to see something that grabs their attention. So I just thought, if there were any ideas that he could help people with, because they might feel, how do I put it together?
Right. Okay then. Sister, are we talking about a business plan, or are we talking about just raising money through a crowdfunding platform for whatever reason, whether it's personal or business?
Whatever.
So for example,
what would you say would be a good way?
The first thing I would say is a very, very good question, and it's not testing me too much at 1 o'clock in the morning, so I will do my very best to answer that question. It is late, but I'm very alert. So this is like afternoon for me. Don't worry about that. I still got another 3 or 4 hours before I close my eyes. But what I will say is that the one thing about the crowdfunding space and what it's really all about, it's really about social media, and it's really about the reach that you have through social media. I mean, I can think of there's at least 5 or 6 or even up to 10 social media platforms that I am aware of now that are springing up left and right. Obviously, the most popular ones right now, of course, we all know Facebook, but you've got Pinterest, you've got Twitter, of course, it's been around a little while. You've got Instagram and Snapchat, which is the social media for the youth, for the kids. You've got LinkedIn for the older people, the business people. So there are so many social media platforms. Even now, think of things like WhatsApp and all that. That's a platform, the groups that are on there. So there are so many platforms or social media companies that you can use to get your reach out, not just to family and friends, but to family and friends and family of the friends and family that you already have, and the wider community, not just your social community. So gone are the days where you used to go and print some leaflets and go and put it through a letterbox. That's hard work. You can sit down on your computer one afternoon and you can put together an entire campaign for whatever reason reasons you have for raising money. You can put that campaign together. So rather than me telling you specifically what to do, I will say that social media is the best way. You've got more eyeballs, more eyes looking at what you're doing through social media globally, not just locally, not just around the corner in your immediate 1 mile radius. We're talking about the rest of the world. Someone somewhere around the world will be looking at what you have and what you need and what you want, and they will say, you know, I'm interested in that, and they'll contact you, or they'll contact the platform. They'll send you the money, or they'll they'll be curious as to what they can do to help you. And that's so. Rather than me say to you, you know, the old-fashioned ways is like sending out emails and stuff like that. I mean, that's just, you can still do that. I will say everything, all of the above is possible, but really get good at social media. I mean, I helped a few people last week who, struggle with posting on Facebook. I mean, I'm not a brilliant Facebooker, but you kind of like know how to do that. And most people, you think, okay, they got Facebook, they should at least know how to post. But in actual fact, you'd be surprised how many people do not know how to post. They know how to read posts, but they don't know how to post themselves. So if you just get good at learning how the social media works, you'll be able to promote anything. There are individuals on the internet that have mastered social media, completely mastered. They've made a living, not a living, a lifestyle from the internet, because they've mastered the internet and what the internet can do. But for many people, they're afraid. They're scared of the internet and computers, and they don't want to press this button and press that button. They don't want to. I think you should have a curious mind and learn how to use stuff, especially social media, because it will help you to communicate so much quicker. Brother Jeffrey, do you agree?
Yes, definitely. Social media is the tool, the best tool to use. It's vastly outpacing even having a website these days. Social media gets your message across in an instant. So I would suggest use all the platforms you have on social media to get that message out, and within no time, you'll be able to raise the funding that you need, especially on crowdfunding people.
But I mean, an example I want to give, and Keith gives the example all the time. Barack Obama, when he first running for office, right? He used the social media, and he raised like $750 million, right? And that was through crowdfunding. Well, social media. And the thing is this, right? People like myself, rules from the old school, will just grasp in one or two things, you know what I mean? And that's the reason why, because I have to, But I'm 100 years behind, because I know some people. No, seriously. When I look at some people where they grasp certain things, it's amazing. Especially kids, them,
They know how to use
social media.
I'm not even on Snapchat or Instagram. I don't even know how them things work.
Yeah.
I didn't even see the purpose of it.
So the way forward really is you've got to embrace social media, and something you have to take a course in these just to get the basic understanding. Because that's the way forward. To me, that's the way forward now, and that's why when we talk about crowd, because when you and Key would agree with that, once you start to get involved in crowdfunding as a project manager, you've got to have a good grasp of social media. What's your own benefit if you do have a grasp of social media? Because you use that to promote your cause and people's donation to your project. But the interesting thing is this, right? And that's a key here, right? You're not by yourself. Am I right saying that, Keith?
Absolutely.
You're not by yourself. Yeah, people can coach you and take you by your hand, and so forth. And don't be scared to ask for help. Don't be scared to ask, because some people they just know what they're doing, and some people just not quite there, and that's how it goes. And so forth. I just want to bring it into the mix, because a very good question you asked my sister.
we hope to see you on Sunday.
Okay.
I hope that helped you, because obviously I didn't want to be too specific. I know if people are thinking of going to print some leaflets or go and send a few emails, that's not going to cut it really.
Yeah, I suppose what I was getting really was, would you say, writing a script, having some photos, doing a video, would you say all those things would really help?
Absolutely.
To visualise.
The more you can, I think the key thing that I've learned from this adventure that we're on now is that you got to get good at promoting. You got to get good at using all the tools, video. YouTube is a great space now as well. You got to be able to, you got to come out of that comfort zone. You got to get yourself uncomfortable and do things that you're not used to doing. It's my third appearance on the radio. I've never done this before, but I know that this is another medium that I've got to get my head around and say, I've got to be part of this medium because the reach is incredible. So you've got to get good at doing the things that are uncomfortable, learn them, get good at it. And so then what happens is, Brother Doug is shaking my hands here now, because you've got to get good. If it's uncomfortable for you, that means you're going to grow when you learn how to do it. Yeah. And as I said, you said videos, get creative, get images, get some nice, you really get yourself in tune with what you're doing and what you're trying to raise your money for, because that way then the crowd will be in tune with you. You're not looking for everybody, because what your project to you will maybe attract a certain type of people, a certain number of people, okay? And others will say, oh, well, what's all that about? But other people will be saying, that's a great cause, that's a great idea. I'm gonna raise some money for you, or I want to be part of what you're doing. And that is what it's really about. But you've got to get very good at the things that make you uncomfortable, shooting videos, doing stuff, radio stuff, all sorts of things, getting some nice videos, putting on YouTube. How many people are listeners tonight have got their own YouTube channel? I guarantee you probably 1% have got their own YouTube channel. You know why? Because they don't understand what YouTube can do for you. If I hear news items on TV, the first thing I do is I go to YouTube and I now type in whatever it is, and someone somewhere has recorded something. Yeah, you'd be impressed. I don't have to wait to the news anymore. There's no breaking news. No, the breaking news on YouTube or on Facebook. So you got to get good at the short answer is you got to get very good at being comfortable doing the uncomfortable stuff.
Absolutely, and it's quite interesting. We talk about YouTube. Because, I don't know if anybody knows Fazza. He's got a clip on him on YouTube, right? And he looked very professional. I must admit, it looked very good. He showed me the link, and I looked at it, and he's really raised his profile 100%. It's professionally put together, right? But it looked good, but the reason why he's done that because he's got to raise his profile to another level, and it's working. And I just want to back up what Keith's saying, that sometimes we have to take it to another level. We have to be uncomfortable, because sometimes we're just uncomfortable, and and speak to everybody, even myself. Sometimes we have to come our own comfortable, be uncomfortable, because to stretch ourselves if we want to take ourselves to another level.
I hope that helps really, because of course that's another very, very good question. But whenever you join a platform, a crowdfunding platform, the onus is going to be on you, not only the platform but you, to really get out there. And as Sister Juliet says, she had to rally around and get this thing moving. It wasn't going to happen by her sitting down watching television. She had to really get, and she's working hard, and she was on target, and she hit target. Now she had to hustle, but that's good. She hustled and hustled. Now she's got a press conference tomorrow on TV, on the Metro newspaper. You're taking it to another level.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Fabulous answer. And thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for dialing, and appreciate that.
very welcome. Have a great evening.
Good morning to you too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
give thanks. Okay then, the live link number 07960-239-493. So and keep those calls rolling. And Jeffrey, you alright though? Or you're gonna make a move soon? Okay, no problem. As long as you're comfortable, my brother, because we go on to whenever, you know what I mean? We have some power, you know what I mean? You know, this is the power coming to it now. Gently, that's right. Okay then. Live link number 07960.
Last week was a marathon, huh?
Yeah. 07960-239-493. So please phone in and answer questions. Keep those questions asking. Okay, we've got someone on the call here. Greetings.
Greetings, Doug. It's Kenra again.
Yes, Kenra, how you keeping?
Yeah, fine. And I guess, is it Keith and Jeffrey?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's us here. Yes, it's us.
Yes. I was very interested in what I've heard so far. Sorry?
Thank you so much for listening. Have you enjoyed the show so far?
Yes, I have very much so. I didn't explain. Sorry?
We're listening, yeah, carry on.
Oh, the line is very bad.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, right. Yes, I did say I was a business owner, and some of my businesses are banks.
What, sorry?
Sorry?
Some of your businesses are...
Banks.
Okay.
Yeah. I think having said what I said, what I felt, I think we can work alongside one another.
That sounds great. Fantastic. Will you be coming on Sunday?
Yeah, hopefully. I don't see why not.
Yeah, come along. We will. We're going to have a good 3-4 hours. It's going to be lively, good debate, good discussion.
Yeah.
You're going to definitely learn something.
Right. And I'd just like to say, as you discussing the internet and social media, I'm one of them people who are terrified of it.
I wasn't referring to you, but I know what you mean.
Because I'm terrified of anything like that. I mean, I had a nice experience when I got my first computer. Very nice experience. Because I didn't know I was pressing this, and then a virus come up.
Oh yeah, that'll put you off computers for a while.
Something came up which was very disgusting, and I just phoned the authorities, so I couldn't get it off my screen.
Yeah, you got to be very careful now with the computers and the internet.
I'm terrified of them. I'm terrified of them.
Well, most people are self-taught, so if it's like riding a bike. You probably fell off the first time. That's the internet. You got a virus, you fell off, that was it. It's like, terrible experience. But you know what you have to do? You have to pick yourself up and get back on that saddle, get back in front of that computer, and start getting on with it again. Because my experience now and the fact that I can get around a computer is only because I've been doing it day in, day out for years now. I remember when I first started on the computer about 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, it was all new. I was pressing this button, opening that, doing this, doing that, but I learned quickly. I didn't go to any Microsoft course. I learned how to use PowerPoint, Excel, Word. I learned all the little tabs. You just try, and it's just not going to bite you. The computer does not turn into an animal and bite you. So don't worry about that. But I can understand you being terrified.
Computers, Doug? How are you with computers?
Well, it's only half the ground computers. For the last, I would say nearly 8 years, probably 8 years. But I have to go in there because obviously I've got a lot of emails and this and that. I've got correspondence. So that's the reason why I'm on there for probably 10 years, probably. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm no wizard. I'm just to get myself around it. Yeah, you know.
I mean, the thing is, you don't have to be a whiz kid. I mean, I am not super quick. I'm not the fastest typer. But what I do know is I look at something on the screen and I read it and I just try and understand what it's telling me. And then it's all directional. Computers are always directional. It tells you what you need to be doing. And then, as I said, learning the software is just basically trial and error. I couldn't use, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I couldn't use PowerPoint, but I knew how to do a presentation. So I had to somehow put a presentation together. Guess what? Within a few days, I learned how to use PowerPoint because I have to, because no one is going to do it for me. But that's what I'm saying to you. So now I forget of the early days how I was, and just like yourself, terrified of it. Now, I switch it on and I know exactly. I'm whizzing around it like I'm like an old pro. But you've got to just get yourself back on the saddle, get in front of the screen, and just start going. Off you go again.
Yeah, don't give up. Just
thanks for the encouragement. I think I will do that.
Yeah, don't give up. Just pursue it. And even though you may make mistakes and press that wrong button, but my experience is that I just persevered and some worked it out myself. What I didn't know, I got on the phone and rang somebody. What do you do here? And they said, do this, do that, do this, and then you learn for the next time. So don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. Just especially businessmen like yourself. You use the social media, man. Use it. Spread the word. Spread the word. Spread the word.
Yes, I did have a friend who was very good at doing social media, and he used to guide along the way. But without him, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yes, we'll get to that point some stage. You don't know what we're doing, but as I said, it's just a matter of persevere. My children are just so good at computers. I call one of them down. So what have I done here? And they show me. So sometimes you've got any youngsters around, get them to show you. They'll be quick. They'll be good.
Very, very good. Okay, then, my brother. Give time.
Now, one more question, Doug.
All right, then.
Question. I will ask Jeffrey, is he allowed to say what bank he works for?
I used to work for NatWest.
Oh, NatWest, yes. All right, then. Thanks very much, Doug.
Okay, then. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for your questions. Yeah,
best. Bye-bye.
All right.
Okay, then.
Cheers. Bye.
Good, thanks. Okay, the live link number 07960-239-493. We have Brother Jeffrey inside house and Brother Keith. We're talking about the whole thing. In fact, we're talking a lot about social media now. And we said that don't be afraid of social media. We're all in the same boat, and in fact, you got to get your head around that, because we're going to promote yourself and promote your business and everything. Social media is the way, definitely the way forward now. And I just keep bringing the whole thing about crowdfunding to us, right? A lot of that is about social media. Anyway, the live link number 07960-239-493. I repeat, 07960-239-493. So please ask a question about the whole thing about business, about crowdfunding, about the banks. We do have the expertise inside the house here who's between them and have at least 40-50 years experience between the two of them. So enough experience inside the house. So please phone in and ask a question. Ask a specific question. I said that all roads lead to the Power of Your Academy this Sunday. And I tell you what I'll do, right? Anybody who phones in now, right, and ask a specific question, right, we will give you a ticket. If you want to come to the event, you can't do better than that. We'll give you a complimentary ticket. We say, Keith, is that fair?
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah. So let's get you to phone in, and we want the place to be packed Sunday, and we're gonna have a ball this Sunday coming, and and it's not nicer when people come together and get the information to charge of information. Someone's go to party and, I'm not knocking parties and dances and we drink two liquor and we feel nice and we come out there and we feel good. But this is a party we're going to, but a party with knowledge. Get drunk on information and knowledge. On the word, that's right. And come out staggering and just feel charged up. Here the live link number 07960 239 493. So let's get the reasoning going.
Yeah, the question I'm willing to ask, the question I'm asking is, if you have a business, you've already established your business, can that business join the crowdfunding? Or can it be part of crowdfunding because you already are established in a business?
Yeah, you'd have to. We would have to know how much you need to raise and what the purpose is. Because obviously, if you started business, you would have raised some sort of funding initially, whether it's your own funding or through other forms of finance. But obviously, there's business grows, and obviously you may need further funding to take your business to the next stage, and then that's where crowdfunding will come in. Because business go through stages. The initial stage, then you go for another growth stage, and so you may need some money to perhaps manufacture or develop a new product, or just take the service of the product to the next stage. On a much more wider scale. Than even the UK, maybe worldwide. So yes, you can do.
Okay. And if it... All right, so once we've established our business, we can still approach have crowdfunding coming in, and we're still able to access it, and we can access it every few years, or it's a one-off access, being a business?
Well, I mean, I think I would need to sit down. We would need to sit down with you and go look at why you need the funding, what purpose, what stage you are at with your business, and really make sure, because remember the crowdfunding, you may set a limit of you want to raise £5,000, but you may raise £1 million, and so you probably won't need any further funding because you've raised more than enough money to take your business to the next stage. So never think of it that you're just going to raise the minimum amount you want. Think of it that you may raise much more, well over the amount that you're looking at raising, and therefore giving you that additional finance to take your business that step further.
Okay, so if you've raised the money, once it goes over the amount, there isn't any holds barred in the way in which you use that money as to what you initially asked for the funding.
No, because I said you've asked for the money, you've raised more than the requirement, and then it's yours to develop your business. So. Keith, you want to?
Yeah, I'll just sort of jump in there because Brother Jeffrey did a fantastic job there. Yeah, the question is, I think the first question you asked is, is it just for established, is it for new business, or is it an established business? Can they get some more money through crowdfunding platforms? Well, there are many platforms out there that will look at your business, that will look at your business plan, what you need the extra funding for, how you'd like to raise this funding. Do you want to just raise the money and then there's without providing anything in terms of maybe shares or guarantees or anything like that. So they'll take a look at what you want and how you want it in terms of the terms. But there are business platforms out there that are specifically designed for businesses, not necessarily new startups, but all businesses. So established businesses as well as new startups. And as I said, I think I said about an hour ago that I've got a Forex exchange card or an exchange travel card that I use, and they have been in business for about a year. And they've got an established business with about 8,000 or 10,000 customers, and they wanted a further €1 million to expand their business. They went to a crowdfunding platform, and I don't mind mentioning the name, Crowdcube, and they have pledges in excess of £11 million. Now they will be able to access all of that money. So again, as I said, if you've got a business established already, or a new business, a new startup, whatever it is, you just got to have the idea, you got to have the plan, the business plan, and you got to be justify what you want it for, what's the expansion going to be, or where's the money going to go, and then the terms are going to be determined based on what platform you use.
Okay, so that would just be the crowdfunding, or the crowdfunding with the business, with the brother who's talking about business.
Yes, well, I will be there myself at some stage, so we can always have a quick chat, and I do help people looking at starting their business, people with their business plan and the cash flow, so I could have a quick look at it. It may not be the appropriate time and place to look at that, but maybe we can set up another meeting afterwards to sit down and go through it together. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sister. You sound like you have a really nice business that you're going to want to share with us on Sunday.
When I meet you on Sunday, I'll share it.
Okay, then, no problem. Okay. Now that my sister, give thanks, because I know that I'm just looking at the reviews I was showing to description with Keith and Jeffrey. I think it's past Jeffrey's bedtime, I know that for a fact. He's looking at the clock and he's saying, what them people are doing to me? What am I doing to me? So, my sister, give thanks, and I will see you Sunday. God bless you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, give thanks. Really powerful question. Okay then. So what we're going to do now, we're going to bring this segment to a close, because Malupan Jeffrey look at him. He must look at a bag of ganja. Look at him, he might look red. He might get fugitive round there. Alright then. So we don't want to punish him too much. Isn't it cute, you do kill the blood. Okay then. So I figured it wise then just bring this segment to a close, right? Okay, we'll bring this segment to a close. So we'll bring this segment to a close. So what I want to do is if you give out your details again, right? And give me this again, Jeffrey.
Yes, I can be contacted. My mobile is 07956 332 It's 07956 332 958. Email address G for golf folks FOLKES @waitrose.com.
Okay, fantastic. So Jeffrey will be our regular with us in the next few weeks. We'll talk about finance and business, etc. So we should bring him to the mix. We don't want burn him out yet, So bring him to the mix still, whatever.